everybody, back with a new episode of Babylon 5. Last episode, we had a big focus on Garibaldi and that group that he's working with, and I was confused because what they had him doing that episode was not what I had in my mind that their mission was or what they were into. I thought they were, you know, supportive of Clark and were against Sheridan because Babylon 5 had broken away from Earth, but this is some whole other thing with working with William Edgars, who is married to Garibaldi's ex, and they had him like trying to protect this thing that they're researching and they think is possibly a mutation with the telepaths that can be harmful. I don't know if I believe all of that or am on board with what they're doing, but Garibaldi's kind of in with them now. We'll see where all that goes, but I was kind of caught off guard by some of that. And we also had Sheridan going to Jakar and Londo about having the Rangers patrolling on their outer rims, and they both didn't seem really cool with that. But, you know, Sheridan's trying to protect them against the Drakh and those other legacies of the Shadows, or Warlons even, if that's a thing. So I definitely think it could be a slippery slope type deal, but we didn't get an answer from them. So I'm curious to see if they'll have a response or what that response is. And also we've started the broadcasting. Ivanova went to Epsilon 3, saw a Zathras. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but so they sent out their first broadcast, and hopefully it's going to reach as many people as we can, and maybe we'll start hearing rumblings of it being effective. Hopefully so. This next episode is called Rumors, Bargains, and Lies. Gosh, I feel like that might be right back into what we were dealing with in that episode with whatever this group is doing. And I'm still curious about his ex, and like, is she really with this guy because she likes him, or does she think because he has money and influence that he can get her child back? Because she had gotten divorced and remarried, and I don't think she and Garibaldi are going to get back together or anything, but I am curious to know more about this group for sure. Like the way they were talking about Garibaldi was odd too, like saying that they don't really, if he's expendable, and they wanted to see how good he is. But, you know, we also saw like really good things about him, how he was helping that man get his daughter back and everything. So I'm just so conflicted about where Garibaldi is, but it seems like he might be going with that group, which may be for the best to not have him on Babylon 5, but also I'm not 100% cool with who he's working with, so I don't know, but let's see. Here we go.
Morning. Oh.
Marcus came back too.
Ivanova tells me you convinced Londo and Jakar to go along with your idea.
Oh, they're going for it.
Ships along their borders as a peacekeeping force.
Interesting.
Though it's going to be tough to get the other aligned worlds to go along with it.
You know, for most of them, the Raiders and the Drakh are just potential problems. I mean, they really haven't hit that many places so far.
They don't see the trouble until it's right up on top of them, and then they run around like they're crazy.
The Sheridan.
That's it. I got it. It'll work.
There's an easier way to convince them.
And how do we do that?
By not convincing them.
Has he had some sleep
Marcus,
at all?
after you finished your breakfast, I want you to take 3 white stars up to Sector 87 and wait for orders.
Fighting has broken out in the capital. They fear it may spread to the outer cities.
Uh-oh.
Civil war.
Yes. It started.
Oh, man. Damn, it's really bad.
Did I do this? That I broke the Grey Council?
Phelan always said the council would be broken in the Great Shadow War.
You know the truth as well as I do. Valen only knew what Sinclair knew.
The Takari has received our signal. They're waiting for us at the rendezvous point. will be there within the hour.
Did you contact Naroon?
Yes, I did. Whether or not he will be there when we arrive, I do not know.
We need him to be an ally. We need to talk to him.
You don't want me to even talk about it?
That's right, and if anyone brings it up, I want you to deny it.
Why?
That's right.
But you want to keep the patrols in place, yes?
Absolutely.
Given the fighting that's going on back home, I should think you would be very worried to be alone with one of the warrior castes.
I would, if it were anyone else but you.
And why is that?
Come with me.
I think she knows you know better.
There are rumors all over Homeworld that the religious caste will give in to the demands of the warriors, that they will rule and we will follow.
No.
Delenn
will speak for herself when she feels it is correct to speak.
You know as well as I that if either side achieves dominance, the delicate balance of...
Where's the worker caste? Where's their representative?
Before you broke the Grey Council. This has been building ever since the war. The fire cannot be stopped. It will have to burn itself out before the two sides will listen to reason.
How many cities will be burned to the ground?
Yeah.
It's a challenge, and I have always liked challenges. You have my support for now.
Okay, this is a good start.
I've reported seeing several of your White Star ships patrolling the borders of Centauri space.
Oh, he wants them to want what they don't know.
I don't really think it's my place to comment.
This is psychological.
We weren't wanted.
The Centauri are a prideful people. They wouldn't ask for help unless they were afraid. If that's true, we deserve to know what it is.
I'm sorry.
Now you got him asking for it, begging for it.
Anymore. Now, if you would please, excuse me. I want you to target several of the asteroids and destroy them.
I see. And then?
And come back.
Captain, may I ask?
You may not.
He's playing chess.
Your orders.
You just gotta get
I
on
have
board.
neither the desire nor the inclination to explain them to you.
These White Star ships were seen on your borders, Ambassador. Our pilots... Your pilots should have their eyes examined. The Maker has gifted us with great big eyes and great
You're
big
such an ass.
scanners and great big...
No. Stop there.
That is no concern.
Oh my God.
Someone else you can go and harass.
I was wondering if your governments can send us some additional blood supplies for each of your races.
Blood supplies?
I just thought it would be a good idea in case we needed it for, well, in the event of a crisis.
Why else would she behave this way unless she intended for us to surrender?
I saw Delenn.
She would have told you.
I know her heart.
We cannot move against her.
You
fight
shall
against
not.
our caste, that is one thing, but to strike down one of our own, it would tear our caste apart and guarantee our loss to the
Don't do it.
There is another way,
What?
but it will mean sacrificing all we have and all we will ever be.
How about you talk to her?
We will lay down our lives for our caste, for the good of everyone.
Oh my...
This ship cannot be allowed to reach home.
You're not a martyr. What is it? Oh my goodness.
Did you get it? Yes.
Oh lordy, don't.
Is this enough? Enough for two ships of this size. To think that one of our own should turn against us.
Someone needs to talk some sense into
I will
them.
welcome the great sleep that I might never again have such thoughts.
This is ridiculous. Lanier! Collect them.
Plan a story for me. Something I just want you to drop into the broadcast.
Captain, with all due respect, we can't...
I have the
planting
story.
now. We've made a big deal out of the fact that unlike ISN, we're putting out the truth.
Uh-huh.
If we become a propaganda machine...
That's the last thing I want.
What do you
I
want?
just want you to mention that nothing happened today in Sector 83 by 9 by 12.
Got a status report from CNC a little while ago, and that sector's been absolutely quiet.
Exactly. So, just relax, because what you're saying is absolutely
It's true, but it's not notable.
Yes.
Don't you want people to trust this?
Did you hear? Yes. And I just learned of an attack by 3 White Star ships. What did they attack?
An asteroid.
Scanners could not pick up anything in the area, only asteroids.
Exactly.
We cannot tolerate this kind of discrimination in the face of grave danger.
They wanted you to...
Invisible enemies. Strange things happening in Sector 83. They
Could be anywhere. They could be all around us.
This better not backfire. Sheridan's quite the mastermind in this episode.
We're almost home. Just a little longer and we will see if Delenn knows what she is doing.
Oh, shit.
Naroon was attacked because some of them believed that the warrior caste is going to surrender to us. They would do anything necessary to prevent that.
They thought the same thing the religious caste does.
Not going to surrender?
Don't be foolish.
It's too late.
It's too late! Lanier! Praise Lanier. You can always count on him. You're welcome.
Going so far that we cannot even trust ourselves.
Help him!
He means a great deal to you, doesn't he?
Yes.
I've been training him. Mr. God trained me.
Oh, really?
In the time that we have known each other, Delenn, I have not always spoken well of you.
But you came
I
around.
assumed your behavior was prompted by a sense of your own superiority, your ego, the usual fanaticism we've come to expect.
It's a fair concern.
In the last year, I've begun to realize that I was wrong.
Let Sheridan think we do not know about this invisible enemy. Let him continue to underestimate us.
You have an obligation to help us protect our borders until we can rebuild our fleets.
You're talking about the White Star Fleet.
We are.
There's nothing I can do. You can't put them on your borders without the proper authorization to intercept raiders and other ships entering or leaving the area. And since you're not likely to give me the authorization, that, as they say, gentlemen, is that.
Incorrect. We will provide them with full authority.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot hide behind that.
Yeah!
I mean, job well done, I guess. You know?
The doctor tells me that they had to remove part of your lung.
Oh, my.
I'm sorry.
I was passing a maintenance tube on my way to see you when I smelled.
And you're gonna cover for them?
System. In her world, we are better than we are. We care more than we care.
You gotta live up to
We act towards each other.
what she sees in you.
I much prefer her world to that of my own, and I
Yeah.
will not allow anything to threaten that. I understand.
In a show of solidarity, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds announced today the formation of an authorized patrol force to curb the activity.
This is a good sign. This is a sign of strength.
On civilian transports. Later in this stellar cast, we'll have news from the resistance at Proxima 3 and other safe havens.
Naroon, what are you doing? Where's he going?
Hey, Rune. He's gone.
Why?
The mission has been successful. I have access to their plans to counterattack our forces in the capital city. They do not have the stomach for a prolonged conflict. Tell our ships to stand by. Victory will be ours within the week.
Naroon! What the fuck? I trusted you! The warrior cast is gonna warrior cast, man. Even Naroon. I'm upset. I mean, he didn't seem happy about it. But this sucks. I thought we were getting real headway here, and that is not the case. He was gathering intel, and maybe what he last saw is true, that they were divided, but I think this has maybe got them back together. Lanier doing what he did, saying what he said about Delenn, so hopefully his intel is incorrect. But it sucks. And, you know, I was gonna, you know, praise Naroon for coming together with Delenn like this until that happened. But at the same time, I was like, how did it get this bad if Naroon was one of the leaders and seems to be, you know, wanting what's best for his people like Delenn assessed? Then how has the warrior cast been so awful and really kicked off the Civil War? So, I mean, there were still questions to be answered, but I didn't think he was full on doing this. That sucks. That sucks a lot. And was his, like, his cast, like, hitting him in the head, was that staged? I don't know. Oh, man. Minbar's in trouble. And, hello, where's the worker cast? How do they have no representation? Maybe once they get to Minbar, but, like, they've always been under... They don't really show them that much on the show, even though it's supposed to be this whole, like, triad thing. I don't know, but that's awful about Naroon. I feel terrible. But, you know, it could have been worse, I guess. You know, Lanier really came through 100%. I didn't realize that Delenn looked at him the way that Dukat looked at her. But, I mean, he is a great person to have underneath you as someone that you're training to maybe become you. I mean, because Delenn really took over for Dukat, really. But it's not like, I don't think Lanier is that much younger than Delenn. So I don't know if it's really like the same type thing. But he really came through for her because he truly believes in her. And Naroon knows that about Delenn and how people feel about her. But I guess what he saw, what he knew, I don't even know how he knew about their plan, which was ridiculous. I can't believe they were like, we're going to martyr ourselves because we think Delenn's going to surrender. What? How about you ask her? But I don't even know if I believe that the Warriorcast thought that that Naroon was going to surrender. I don't trust anything now. But still, that was ridiculous. And Lanier put it ever so nicely to them that they were being fools. But hopefully they can start living up to Delenn's ideas of them. Lanier really told him how it is. But yeah, Minbar not doing that great. But it's great for Ivanova to say over the broadcast that they're with them and they have their well wishes. But Sheridan really did play some 3D chess with the unaligned worlds. They didn't want to be told that the Rangers were going to patrol their borders. But when you keep them out of the loop and you make them think that there are invisible enemies, then yeah, they're gonna want your help, which is it's deceitful. And I don't know if it's for the best to have them paranoid about things they can't see. But whatever the case, they came around to wanting the patrols. So Sheridan got what he wanted. And the fact that Londo and Jakar came around to it in the first place, I was pretty shocked by that. But Londo really helped out by pretending or just not saying anything and having everything be shrouded in secrecy that the Drazi and everyone involved in the unaligned worlds were begging to be let in on. And, you know, they try to play it cool, being like, well, they don't know that we know about these invisible forces. But, I mean, they play right into his hands. So however hopped up that Sheridan was and loving life and having these epiphanies, it worked in his favor. I still am apprehensive about it all just because it's great for now, but what if Sheridan's not always in power? And we saw how badly it went when we lost Kosh and when they took over, when the Borlans took over, and then like bad leadership on Centauri, like having all of these Rangers patrolling borders I don't know. It feels weird to me, but I guess maybe necessary because of the threats of the Drakh and whatever other shadow underlings may be out there trying to cause havoc. I don't know. But they asked for it. They asked for the help and we're happily giving it to them because that is what Sheridan wanted in the first place. Silliness. But, you know, he employed Marcus and Dr. Franklin and Londo, and it just they fell into his hands. So you got to give it to him for like really knowing people's behaviors and how they'll respond to things and just thinking steps ahead. I mean, it's smart. So you got to kind of hand it to him. But, you know, telling Susan to be like, there's nothing happening in this region. Like, that sounds like you're being, like, you're not telling the truth. And that can kind of jeopardize what you're doing here, which is supposedly keeping the truth on air. And it wasn't untruthful. There was nothing happening there. But it made them think that you weren't telling the truth. And I hope that doesn't come back to bite you in the ass in some way. But yeah, this was a fun episode for as bad as it is with Minbar. Seeing Sheridan just go around and playing these cards, it was so funny. And I love to see Lanier come through in the way he did. But Naroon leaving there at the end was just such a bummer on an otherwise pretty fun episode. But yeah, the Civil War on Minbar, interesting to hear them talk about what the Great Council was. You know, a lot of the times peace can be the language of the oppressor, and to have that long period of peace doesn't negate the fact that it was kind of suppressing a lot of the issues that people were having, and this has kind of just let it all loose. And it's not that like Civil War is the answer, but issues need to be addressed, and hopefully whatever comes out of this can be better than it was before, even though peace was what you got out of the Great Council. Maybe you can have even more than just that. Liberation of these people who feel underrepresented. If I was a worker cast, I'd be like, excuse me, we exist. We exist. Because it does seem like, in a way, that the warrior cast and the religious cast kind of call all the shots. That may not be true, but what we see in the show it's how it seems. But yeah, I had a really good time with this episode. Rumors flying, bargains, and what else did they talk about? What was the name of the episode? Rumors, bargains, and lies. You know, all things were happening. But it's just fun to see how it all came together. And it's fun now that we are in the micro of all of these issues and not dealing with these grand problems in the Vorlons and Shadows. It's just these problems between these races that are all kind of on the same playing field, but also inside the races themselves, with the Civil War going on Minbar and everything, and just all of these relationships that you have to kind of have some kind of harmonious thing happening between all of them, and just how brittle or fragile that is. It's such a dance that you have to do, but you have to have good leadership. And so far, so good with Sheridan and what he's employing after the Great War. And, you know, like, Delenn, she's the best. And I love to hear how Lanier sees her. So we'll see how the rest of the season is going to go. But everything just seems so delicate because things are changing. This is a very transitionary time. And, you know, you got, you know, Mars and Earth, and just there's so much going on. But it's all very, very interesting, and I'm having a good time with it. So yeah, this is a really good episode. I liked it a lot. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon.